Question 10. Body surface area, which is always measured in meters squared. So we have the concentration of the drug here, 2 milligrams per 15 mils. We have the body surface area of the patient, which is 1.36 meters squared. And it's recommended that the patients receive 500 micrograms per each square meters of body surface area. Look, that's the invisible one over there. So it looks like we have too much information. When that happens, the first thing we need to do is maybe try to look for information about our patient, the information about the woman. And here, the most obvious one will be her or the patient's surface area. So this is our starting point because it relates to the patient. Now look at the unit. Because it's the body surface area, it's 1.36 meters squared. So we need to link this with another meter squared. Here it is. So if the recommendation is 500 micrograms for each 1 meter squared, hypothetically, if we had 2 meters squared, the proportion would say 1000 micrograms. If we had 3 meters squared, we would have 1500 micrograms. So it's always a multiple that we have to do here. In this case, because the person's body surface area is 1.36 meters squared, we can just say, just by inspection, just by seeing that what's happening there, all we need to do is multiply the 500 micrograms by 1.36. So we could even do some work in a box if you wanted. However, we would say 500 micrograms in 1 meter squared. This is our ratio. That's what goes into the box first. Remember, that's the have. And the 1.36 would go next to the 1 meter squared because we are matching the units over there. So that's what's missing in our box. And again, here we could just look and see if the 1 goes up to 1.36. Imagine the 1 went up to 2, we would say doubled. But here it didn't double, it's a bit less. So we just multiply by 136. So we would need to multiply the 500 micrograms also by 1.36. Otherwise, if we thought, oh, we cannot really see this one because the numbers are not so lovely, always use the diagonal. Main diagonal this time is here. Multiply those two figures, 500 times 1.36, which was what we've been saying we would do. And dividing by 1 won't make any difference. So, for a start, we could have just multiplied. That will come out always fine. Simply multiply the 500 by 1.36 and we get 680 micrograms. We could have basically, if you want next time as a shortcut, all you do is you multiply the quantity of drug by the body surface area, 680 micrograms. Now, with this answer, we come back here. 680 micrograms is what this woman with this weight needs to receive. So we are going to now use this information as our have, because that's what she will need. And that piece of information, did I say have? No, this is our want, what she will need. And the pink information, because it's a ratio, is our have. So we could do this using the box method or the formula method. We'll do the formula now. So we want over have times the volume or the third quantity. What we want is the 680 micrograms. What we have needs to be in micrograms, but we don't have micrograms, we only have milligrams. So probably first thing we would do here, it doesn't matter which one we change, usually easier to change the bigger one. So gram, milligram, microgram. The bigger of the two is the milligram, so probably easier multiplying the milligram by 1,000 to get, so 2 multiplied by 1,000, changing 2 milligrams into micrograms will be 2,000 micrograms. It wouldn't matter if you decided to change the micrograms into milligrams, but it's just easier to go to the right, to multiply than divide. So let's recap. We have the 1 here, we have the head there, and we multiply by the volume, which is the 15 mils. As I have been saying, we cancel the micrograms, and the answer will come out in mils. So let's do the calc. 680 divided by 2,000 multiplied by 15, and we get 5.1 milliliters. So this is the volume the patient will need. And I'm now reading the question again. I see that they are asking for the milligrams. So actually, I didn't answer that part. I'll go and answer the second part first. The volume the patient will need of this drug is 5.1 mils. The milligrams, we haven't calculated in milligrams, but we have all this blue bit here because that's the weight of the woman. All this blue refers to what she will need. So let's go down a bit to make room. The 680 micrograms is the solid ingredient the patient will need. And the question was asking it in milligrams. Well, this time we have no option. We will have to go from micrograms to milligrams. We have to go backwards. We divide by 1,000. So this being a whole number, decimal point at the end, and to divide by 1,000, I can either use a calculator or just think about it. 1 will divide by 10, 100, 1,000. 3 decimal places. That's the new decimal point. So our answer should look like that. We don't need that 0, but we do need a 0 at the front. So we went from micrograms to milligrams. The question asked for the milligrams, otherwise we wouldn't need it because it was more convenient to change our milligrams into micrograms instead.